If you commit a mass shooting in America and you look like this, you're a terrorist. If you commit a mass shooting in America and you look like this, it's a tragedy, but you're a one-off with mental health issues. The horrifying massacre in Orlando was the 133rd mass shooting in 2016 alone. It was also, according to the media and the authorities, terrorism.
This terrorist,
international terrorism,
terror act,
terrorist attack,
domestic terrorist.
But what do we really mean when we call something terrorism? According to Merriam-Webster, terrorism is the use of violent acts in order to frighten the people to achieve a political goal. Last year, a white supremacist named Dylann Roof walked into a black church in South Carolina and murdered 9 black churchgoers. According to witnesses, he explicitly said that he was there because black people, quote, had to go. Dylann Roof fit the textbook definition of terrorism to a T. But Dylann Roof was not charged with terrorism, and the media was reluctant to call him a terrorist.
Controversy arising over what to call the suspect in the massacre at the Charleston church.
But as soon as the perpetrator is a Muslim, we are very quick to call it terrorism. Now, only 3 of the mass shootings in the past year were perpetrated by Muslims, but we don't call any of the other ones acts of terror. No, we call them hate crimes or tragedies or some other thing. By limiting the definition of terrorism to mean violence perpetrated by Muslims, we are creating the false impression that all terrorists are Muslim. And once you believe that all terrorists are Muslim, it's not hard to make the leap to believe that all Muslims are terrorists. In fact, we're at the point now where half of the voting public supports a temporary ban on Muslims entering the country.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
In the aftermath of such a grotesque killing spree, the first thing we need to do is offer solidarity to the victims. But after the shock and horror subside, people understandably want blood, payback, justice. Now, in the past, terrorism has been used to justify all manner of awful things that we've done, like war and the killing of innocent civilians. But as the massacre in Pulse nightclub painfully shows, all of that did nothing to protect us from this kind of senseless killing. We can't use acts of terrorism as a justification to demonize an entire religion or race. For example, look at what the mosque in Omar Mateen's hometown was doing in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. They were helping to coordinate much-needed blood donations. We should remind ourselves that just as one racist doesn't speak for all white people, one nightclub shooter does not speak for all Muslims.